Body and muscles feel tight, achy, and sore all the time, but you can't afford daily or weekly massage? Let's use these tools to help loosen you up. All right, first up, foam roller. This is actually a rumble roller from Elite FTS. It's roughly 60 bucks and worth its weight in gold in terms of loosen up. I choose the one with the little knots on it because it's gonna help any muscle adhesion that you may have or any knots or lumps you feel within the muscle. You can obviously get the ones that are flat, or if you wanna save a lot of money and go the cheap route, you can get PVC pipe from Lowe's, Home Depot, and put some tape on it, so same shit. All right, let's start with our glutes. So all we're gonna do is sit on it to do our right, turn to my right side, use this right arm as a kickstand. I'm gonna roll the entirety of that glute. So up to the low back, down to the hamstring. 3 to 4, 5 passes. If you find an area that's really, really tight, stay on it. So if I feel tightness right here, I'm just gonna sit, let those nodules of the foam roller dig in, and then start rolling again. Okay, so that's glute. Let's get into hamstring. Stack my feet, cross my ankles, and all we're gonna do is pivot off that wrist. So the length in the belly of that hamstring. So my glute, down to the back side of my knee. Again, if you feel a tight area, stay on it, roll, and then right back into it once it releases. All right, so obviously we do the other side. We'll go fast here since I showed you. Hamstring, left side. You may feel awkward and clumsy at this at first. Again, this will take practice. The more you do it, the easier it'll get, and it won't hurt nearly as bad. Next, let's go to our back. I like to break my back up into 3 sections. Start with lower. If you get some adjustments like the chiropractor, perfectly normal. We'll go mid back. Again, you can find a knot, pause on it, hold, deep breath, and release. And now let's go upper, hands above my head, get those traps. And then lastly on the back side of my body here is gonna be a T-spine mobilization. So let's start right in the middle of my upper back. Hands out, big arch, and just let your head drop and fall, 5 seconds. Deep breath. Roll down 2 to 3 inches here. Again, T-spine, stretch, suck in those abs. Go into lats. So turn to my side, I'm gonna roll the belly of that lat. So there to my armpit. I'm just pivoting off that knee. If you find a spot that's tight, hold, just like that. Left side lat. I flipped around the foam roller so you can see what was happening there. If you find a spot, hold on to it, deep breath. Let it release. You show that's the whole shoulder of mine drop, and then re-roll, just like that. All right, next up, quads. Bunch of different variations here we can do. We're gonna start with the most basic, and that's gonna be double leg. So start this right above my knee here, and we're just gonna pivot out of that planked position. Again, this isn't a race. Slow and controlled. If you find a spot, sit on it. Make that dissipate. Re-roll. Doing adductors, so be spread your feet, turn your toes out. Now, single leg. This is where it starts to hurt. Here, roll all the way up to that hip. Switch legs. Okay, now let's get into the worst for most people. IT band, side plank, roll down, hip to knee, hip to knee. And then we'll see you do the other side, and I'll show you a cool variation when I flip around so you can see it. All right, final piece here to this foam rolling. I'm gonna roll the IT band, but let's say I have an adhesion on the IT band that is awful and brutal. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll it, find that spot, and I'm gonna bang 5 leg curls with just my body weight. This will be excruciating if you find one of those tight spots. So let me show you what that looks like. Here, find it, there, and all I'm gonna do is leg curl, squeeze that muscle. This is absolutely brutal. Once it loosens up, re-roll. and that's foam rolling. All right, next up, lacrosse ball. You can get one of these at Dick's Sporting Goods, $3 to $4, super cheap, just a dense rubber ball. You could also use a pool ball, a golf ball. A tennis ball doesn't really have enough density to it, but you could use it if you have some really tight areas. So we're gonna start here with my feet. So lacrosse ball on the ground, and we're gonna start by rolling the length of my foot. Even as I curl my toes around it, get the arch really well. You'll feel some knots and popping in there. If you have any type of issues in your feet, you're gonna feel that. Stay on those spots, grind them out. Next, let's go to our heel. I plant my toe on the ground and just rub. I'm going left to right, or east and west, however you look at that, and I'm gonna go north and south, front to back. If you feel those knots, grind on it. Like right there's one for me. I'm gonna sit on it and just push until that thing goes away and put more weight of my body on that until it dissipates, and then re-roll. Again, do that for both feet. Arch first. You can even go to the pads of your feet. If you feel a knot there from doing a lot of, say, calf raises. If you're a runner, if you've done a lot of cardio for a prep, your feet take a beating, or if you just have really shitty shoes. And lastly, stay on those heels. The heel for me is the worst in terms of where I have issues. So grind those babies out. All right, next up, shoulders. So I'm gonna take that ball, put it on the wall, it doesn't matter where, right in the middle of that side delt. And we're gonna roll. Dig into those things. Shoulders take a beating of all your upper body movements, even when you train arms, when you train chest, when you train your back. So dig all that muscle adhesion and knots out. If you find a spot, for me, it's right where that front delt hits, right there. You probably can see that pain in my face, right? Find that knot, sit on it. Push your body weight into it. It absolutely is brutal. And then re-roll. Okay, that's shoulder. Let's change this into some chest. So about a month and a half ago, I had an issue with my pec. I took this every day and dug into that spot. So here, all that's gonna do is help speed recovery. Dig into that, for me, right there, dig into that spot. And then across the belly of that chest. You notice it's kind of like left to right, but also kind of circular motion. Go down to your lower pec, here, all the way across. And then, if you really want to get fancy, for me, since that pec ties into my front delt there, I work that entire issue or area as one. So get in there, go front delt to pec. And that is so knotty and lumpy. I'm going to get a massage today, have that specifically area worked on. Right through there, dig around. All right, and that's how you lose the lacrosse ball. All right, next up, the STRADDLE. I actually saw this advertised on the Joe Rogan podcast and thought, man, that really sounds cool. Like the premise, and that's one of those things that it's really hard to dig in on myself. So this simple piece of equipment, I'm gonna show you how to use today. So put it down on the ground. They have plenty of uses for this, and that'll actually, we'll make a separate video to how to use it on your whole body, but for today, I'm just gonna show you the psoas and how I like to use it for that particular issue. So all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tuck my shirt in here so you can see what we're doing. Straddle that with my hips, and then all I wanna do is just fully relax my legs and then fully relax my upper body. Deep breathing. That's absolutely brutal, especially for me on the right side. So I'm gonna slide my body down, get into it. I put my abs in between those two horns, and then same thing. Deep breathe into it. And let all your body weight fall onto this piece. Once your body relaxes, that's how you know it's time to move on. Now, since I know that right side of mine is really tight, I'm gonna do some specific right side only work. I'm gonna slide the STRADDLE to the right of my body. Find that tightness, which is, yeah, right there. And then now watch me release into that. Slowly let my body weight into it. And then deep breathe. Perfect. And that's how you loosen your psoas. All right, that wraps up the 3-part morning series that I do all season long, whether it's pre-contest or off season. And the final thing, the final 4th piece of this puzzle is gonna be guided meditation for 10 to 15 minutes. If you look at the view here, absolutely beautiful. And that's what I take in, gather my thoughts, plan my day, and just mentally relax my mind to attack and dominate.